farmer out on Route 306, just a little bit south of the railroad tracks, was a farmer by the name of Worthy Taylor. He had a daughter by the name of Arabella, a young daughter, good-looking young woman. And during the summer, he would often hire help. There were a couple of young men who were students at Hiram College who were looking for work in the neighborhood. And so Worthy Taylor hired them. And they worked the entire summer. Well, the young men were excited because Arabella, Worthy Taylor's young daughter, would often work out in the field also. So pretty soon there grew a relationship between Arabella and one of the young men. Eventually they began to court one another, and this young man got the courage to sit down with Worthy Taylor and ask if that courtship would become a little bit more serious. Worthy Taylor became outraged. He was protective of his young daughter, Arabella, told the young man to get off his property and never come back, and that he would never, he gave the young man a severe tongue lashing. He would never have any no-account hired man hanging around his beautiful daughter. Later on, after some years, some owners who were exploring the barn, they found this young man's name actually carved in the loft of the second story of the barn. The name was James A. Garfield, later the 20th President of the United States. So that was Garfield's first connection to the village of Aurora. Sometime later, Garfield would later marry Lucretia Rudolph of Garrettsville, but Arabella eventually married an Aurora man by the last name Burroughs. Arabella and Garfield actually did keep in touch with one another. She gave him a signed, autographed photo of himself so that she could keep that. At the time that James A. Garfield was a student at what is today Hiram College, it was actually known as the Western Reserve Electric Institute. After graduating from Hiram, in 1854, he went on to Williams College in Massachusetts, which was connected with the Disciples of Christ. He was ordained a minister. He then returned to Hiram to work as a professor of ancient languages. He eventually became dean of the faculty and then president of Hiram, what today is Hiram College. While at Hiram, he would often fill the pulpit here in Aurora for the Disciples of Christ for a period of about 10 years when the disciples did not have a permanent minister. They used students and faculty members from Hiram College. When he came, he would often stay at the home of Alanson Baldwin, across the street from the library here. Later, after his connections as a minister and a student at Hiram and working there, he was later called into service to serve in the Ohio militia, the Ohio 42nd Regiment, where he was assigned by the governor during the American Civil War. When he became commander of the 42nd Regiment, it existed only on paper. And so it was his responsibility to actually recruit men to fulfill the ranks. And so his next connection to Aurora was coming here just at the outbreak of the American Civil War in 1862, and spoke to the congregation of the church in Aurora, recruiting young men to enlist into the 42nd Cavalry Regiment to become part of the Ohio military assignment for that period of time. So he wanted these young men to rise up and meet the challenge that was before them. So that was Garfield's connection to Aurora. And just a little bit about the Civil War. He was successful in getting men to volunteer. And During the Civil War, there were about 80 young men that actually enlisted or were drafted into the American Union Army. Before the draft of 1863, the majority of them had been volunteer. However, as a result of the draft in 1863, there were 11 men drafted here from Aurora, and it's kind of interesting. 6 of them hired substitutes. If you were wealthy enough and had $300, you could actually hire a substitute. By today's standards, that'd be around $5,000, and they would go and fight in your place. Oddly enough, also, these men who became substitutes hired by the individuals oftentimes would go and fulfill their enlistment, or at least show up to be enlisted into the military, and then they would desert and go to another town and be hired again as a substitute, and they kind of made a profession going from one place to another. So 6 hired substitutes. 1 was exempted on a physical deferment. 1 was ever denied that he lived in Aurora. It wasn't his permanent home. And 2 of them that were out of the remaining skedaddled once they had gotten their draft notice. They skipped town. The men who actually hired substitutes were Harvey Baldwin, Ransom Collins, Julius Granger, Zeno Kent, Solomon Little, and Gordon Riley. They were all under over 35 years of age, so they were pretty old as far as recruitments would go at that time. 8 of the 80 men that served in the Civil War from Aurora, 8 of them were confirmed that being killed in battle. They were Dryden Ferguson, Deanon Hickox, Charles Foote, Samuel Spencer, James Fitzpatrick, Randall Eggleston, and John McKelvey. Only one of them, Francis Taylor, and we have a photo of him, of the 2nd Cavalry Company B from Ohio, died from disease at Little Rock, Arkansas in 1864. So, going all the way back to Garfield, he was instrumental in recruiting Aurora's veterans who had fought in the American Civil War.